We're not even sure we take our own advice, but here it is anyway. Free therapy with the Ben Davis and Kelly K Show.
All right, so this is from a Facebook group, Buy No Things Ann Arbor, right? This bride-to-be who posted on there, correct?
Yeah, neighbors can swap unwanted items from decor to accessories for free on this group.
Right. So bride-to-be explained on this Facebook post she was trying to organize the wedding for under $100, right? And was wanting to ask people for certain items because God, quote, told her to. So she was looking for things like decorations, a veil, candles, champagne fountain, ring bearer pillows, cake toppers, glass jars, stuff like that. Now, to be fair, this is a web page where there is kind of a swap for bridal items. Am I right?
And I feel like that may be the source of a lot of the people that are angry about this because they feel like she's just taking and not giving anything. But in her defense, when I first saw this, there are a lot of like wedding Facebook like swap groups because you have one day, a lot of people buy all this decor for their ceremony and then they don't need it anymore. So they want to pass it on to the next bride. And so in that spirit, I was thinking, all right, why not? You know, this wedding decor gets to live on, have another great party.
So
and
yeah,
there you go.
So she's saying that, hey, my wedding's at the end of September and I wanted to arrange everything for about $100, rainbow themed, and has managed to pick out a dress, bouquet, boutonnieres, venue, food, music, cleanup for about $26. So
$26.80 to be exact. That's crazy.
Yeah, have no idea how she's able to do that. I still think, you know what? If you're thrifty, that's great, but I think $100 is cheap no matter how you look at it for a wedding.
I'm really surprised at your take on this.
Really?
Because you're Mr. Bargain. You love a good bargain too.
Yeah, for sure. But
I kind of appreciate the genius a little bit, especially, I mean, if she's gotten all that stuff already, she's had people say, sure, I'll help you out. She's had takers.
Now, listen, I've gone to and been a part of weddings that are on a budget. A lot of people can do that. But yeah. I think, one of those, especially when you hear the stories from people that are charging their guests to come to their wedding, I think
that's a little excessive.
I think that's a little excessive for sure.
Now, the other thing that people are pointing out, though, is the theme of her wedding was rainbow themed. And so a lot of people were saying it's perfectly suited for a toddler.
Oh.
It's because she had some unique items that she was looking for.
So
others were saying self-entitled much.
Right. So I would be interested to know how much you spent on your wedding. Like if there's anybody who can I don't think anybody can beat $100. I just don't think. No. I think that's
I way overshot that.
But I'd be interested to know on both sides of it.
Now, you got married how long ago?
I don't know, 2002. 2002.
You can't pull up how many years you've been married.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Been married.
Do you have any idea how much you spent on your wedding, or did your wife's parents pay for most of it?
No. It was. Well, gosh, I know how much I spent, but it was. I think the entire wedding was under $10,000. Like
really?
Yeah,
that's really good. I paid for half of mine, and I think we ended up spending like $19,000.
Yeah,
it's
and I think that's pretty.
Like 225 people.
I think that's pretty, and I think even by today's standards, that's pretty good, for.
Yeah, that's even below, I think, the national average of what people are spending, which is crazy when you think about it.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, if you want to text us or message at Ben and Kelly Show, I'd love to hear how inexpensive your wedding was. But then how also expensive it was if it was on the other side. Like, oh, we spent $200,000 because we flew everybody to Hawaii for a beach wedding and blah, 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 blah. So anyways.
And also what you think of this thrifty bride.
Yeah.
Rainbow-themed wedding girl.
Several text messages at 502-571-9970. And I'll say a lot of you are keeping the wedding, like your wedding price right around the $2,000 to $6,000 range, which, if
that's impressive.
Exactly.
Kudos.
Andy said our wedding was $3,000 for about 100 people, included everything. Took a lot of help from family, donating time and food. And that's the key. I think a lot of people are like, family and friends kind of helped with all that. Stacy said, I got married in 2000, paid for everything myself, spent less than $500.
Wow.
All using Big Lots, Dollar Tree, and making cakes and food myself.
You can find really cute stuff there.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of texts from listeners like right around $2,000-$3,000. There's one though. Brittany was like, I spent about $25,000 in 2006. So yeah, that's more like I think what we would kind of expect, right? Casey says we spent $20 on our wedding.
Wow.
The only people that we invited was our kids, and we wore outfits that we already had. And I wore a long flowing dress down to the floor, and the preacher only charged us whatever we wanted to donate, which we tried to donate $100, and he turned it down. Yep.
Cow.
So that's pretty cool.
That is nuts.
Yeah. Barb sent us a text and said, I got married for the first time back in 2002. We only spent around $500. Second time in 2015 in my backyard, only spent around $200, which 80 that was my cake. That was also the biggest mistake of my life. LOL. Right.
So these people, they weren't having receptions because right there, it was like $15 a head for each person coming to the reception to feed them.
Yeah.
The food is always a huge part of that expense.
The catering is always, the catering, the venue, all that is expensive. And the more people you have, and that's when it starts to get kind of brutal because you start going through your wedding list going, looking at each name as a dollar sign going, okay, everyone is $20 a head, $18 a head, something like this for this dinner that we're having for the reception. So it's like, do we really need my second cousin Chet there?
Oh, no.
No, Chet, sorry.
No, see, that's the thing.
You're getting the axe.
I saw another story.
You're getting the axe.
Because of these COVID times. I saw another story of how this one couple was grouping their guests or would-be guests into group A, group B, and then group C. So like group A, you're the VIP. So if you can't come, you're going to make room for some group Bs and then maybe some group Cs. And it was like, oh, I don't know if you categorize your family and friends.
Wait, hang on. You mean to tell me I'm your brother and I'm in the C group? And then we'll get to a text from Mike who said, I saved $20,000
by not
staying single and not getting married. LOL. There it is. Right there. All right. I will say we do have a winner, I think, on the least expensive amount of money spent on a wedding.
Well, we had what, $20?
We did have a
Someone can beat $20?
Someone can beat $20. Now, there are a lot of people that are like, hey, you know what? Kept it under $10,000. That's good. That's respectable. Got another text from someone who said they got married last October at Cherokee Park, spent less than $1,000. So,
awesome.
I mean, that's good.
Sounds like a beautiful setting, too.
Susan, start to finish, reception, all in, $1,500. Dress, food, preacher, hair, nails, everything. So, I mean, a lot of y'all.
I don't know how many people were at these weddings.
Yeah, a lot of y'all were very thrifty. But here's it rolling in from Erica. And she says, married 17 years, rather have a house than a wedding. Spent $13.50.
Wow. Yeah, there were a lot. I've heard of a lot of people kind of like saying, hey, I'd rather spend that money on a down payment for a house. And that's a completely valid choice.
Yeah, no.
Like, I loved our party. We had an amazing party. We had a night we'll never forget. But in hindsight now, I don't know. Would we do the same thing?
So I will say that I think when I look back at it, a large chunk of my wedding cost was the honeymoon. And so,
really? Yeah, you guys went big. We went to
Ireland and Scotland.
Yeah.
So that was like if we're going to do this, and we're going to have this trip, this is going to be a trip that we have once in our life. So we're going to spend a large chunk of our budget on that. And
we did it once in our life trip right before we had kids.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. So there you go. If you want to continue commenting, you can at Ben and Kelly Show.